when you tell people about it, which episode are they listening to? And then you start to panic a little bit. You're like, is it? So speaking of which, when I looked up our most common episode, it was the one that started off with the meow meow.
Oh, are you serious?
And that's the one the world would know us by if we had one.
I hate you all. Die in a hole.
I love it. But yeah.
Meow, 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 Elliot. Meow, meow.
That's what happens when you put yourself out there, guys. This takes courage.
Took courage for me to meow meow, lads, and you took advantage of it.
Really fucking did.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of Rather Be Playing, the podcast where we talk about how we'd rather be playing games than
drinking ourselves to death in a tavern in Schwarzboden.
What? I'm Josh.
I'm Elliot.
And I'm Steve-O.
I don't think Schwarzboden's a real place, Steve-O.
It's a real place in your heart and in your imagination, Josh.
Spent a lot of time there.
We did. A significant event happened to us, didn't it, Elliot?
Yeah, it was a really crazy string of events that somehow turned out okay.
Yeah, we saved the world in a way.
We did. We
did
saved
you?
the town of Schwarzboden in the country of...
No, the country was Schwarzboden, isn't it?
The
barony of Grimsvig.
Grimsvig was the town.
Indeed. Yep.
Maybe we should get to the point before we lose everyone.
Sorry. Over New Year's Eve, we went to a cabin in West Virginia. Beautiful part of the country, I might say. They get a bit of snow. It's a great bunch of lads.
Yeah, it was nice.
And while we were there, a friend of the show, Mike from Pod Nerdy to Me, made us up a role-playing game called The Great Klaus Caper. That was about, this... the fictional country of Schwarzboden, and I was a retired footballer, forced into retirement, in fact, by a horrific injury. So I was basically starting out the game trying to drink myself to death in a tavern in this place.
Yeah.
It was.
So you started out being unable to play football, so this was pretty realistic, huh?
Yes, this is exactly it. So I'm surprised Mike hasn't caught me out on this yet. So far, both of the characters that I've played in his role-playing games have been grumpy people. I find it much easier to, get into a role if I'm allowed to be kind of angry and bitter and make jokes a lot. But
in his role-playing fantasy, Steve-O was so useless. He put himself in a wheelbarrow that was pulled around. Like, you could make anyone you wanted.
Other people put me in a wheelbarrow, and hey, it worked.
That's true.
Are we still talking about the game, or this is
Well, in fairness, I was using a lounging chair to roleplay during that part of the quest. But also, the best part of it was Mike had written in at one point, one of us could have been affected by this thing that would turn us into a different character, and it completely changed the game. It actually happened to me, and I ended up being a bad guy and trying to work against the group that I was with.
Yeah.
And it was so good because one of our other friends, Manu, had come up with the best character ever. He was like a former circus tumbler turned gravedigger who was like trying to get the circus band back together. But in the meantime, me and him were like best buddies, best drinking buddies. So he was in a group with me trying to finish this quest, and we were also in a group with Elliot's wife Amy and Manu's wife Amanda, and it was so good because at the point where I was changed and I was trying to get up to like devious things and trying to basically wreck the quest, sabotage it completely, they were so suspicious of me and trying to stop me doing the stuff that I was. But Manu was always loyal. That man is the greatest best friend a former retired World Cup winning footballer could have. It was so good.
It sounds like he doesn't clown around much.
Oh God.
God.
Oh God, bad puns
Josh.
already.
Josh, man. Thought we talked to you about that.
You said more.
I forget my character's name. My guy was like he was an indigenous person in a neighboring country who was being slaughtered by the Grimsvig people, I think.
Your character was being slaughtered?
Another country. Like his people were being like taken over. Yeah. And then my guy escapes in one of their riverboats, takes it up, docks in Grimsvig, and starts looking for people to come fight. Much more serious and dark, and not really a happy story at all.
It was a good backstory, though.
It was a good backstory. Yeah.
You were a bit of a badass as well, as I remember.
It turned out pretty good. I got like Magitech armor. It was awesome. Yeah. Doug's, man.
Oh, yeah.
Character. She had, in Mike's experience, the impossibly worst roles that anyone he's ever seen anyone get. Like, it's like you just have to roll anything but this one thing to make this work, and like she gets the one thing
over a -4.
Yeah, you know? That's all.
Somehow she manages.
Somehow you didn't get that. It was pretty.
It just made for a hilarious character, though. Yeah. She was just doing the stupidest thing at all times, and like causing everything to just go to shit. It was excellent.
Darn, well, next time you guys need to, like I said, Skype me in, and I'll play with you guys since I'm not flying my ass out to West Virginia to come with you.
Oh, sure. Definitely, man. We'll set you up on a monitor.
You'll just be like, what'd you roll, Josh? I rolled a 20.
What? We're not using 20-sided. Yeah. It was my first time role-playing. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Mike.
You should talk to the same team, y'all guys. They role-play a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
That's true.
That's how I got started. I played a couple times with them. I suck at it. But other than that...
It's a whole new world. Amy loved it. Everyone over there had a great time. Everyone who we were there with had a great time. Should we talk about video games?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, we haven't recorded in over a month. This will come out at a normal time, but because we did the other one early when I flew over to the East Coast. But it's been about a month since we recorded, and so we've had quite a bit of time to actually play some games for now.
Yeah, we did. That's the amazing thing.
Finished a lot of games.
I don't think Elliot finished a game, so he at least he accomplished something.
I finished 3 games.
You finished 3 games, really?
Fucker, yeah. Put it up on the list.
Yeah, but it's one giant list. Like, I don't know which ones are yours.
This will never happen again. Mark it. This is a great day.
Take it away, Elliot. Since you never get your moment in the sun where you've actually beaten a couple of games, take it away, sir. Tell us about it. What was it like? First off, what emotions did you feel?
I felt this weird sensation. I think it was accomplishment. It doesn't come around too often.
Oh, no, wait. Are you sure it wasn't that you soiled yourself?
I'm sure I would tell the difference. Wait, is that what accomplishment feels like?
Accomplishment presents itself differently with every person, so maybe.
I'll take it. I will take it. Well, let me start off by saying that all 3 of us finished what Remains of Edith Finch, which we all enjoyed very much and have a lot to say about it because the story was crazy for anyone who's played it. So similarly to what we did with Firewatch several episodes ago, we're going to save the discussion for the end of the episode. So if you haven't finished it and you want to avoid spoilers, you can cut it off then because we're going to go deep into it at the end of the episode.
I guess we could say a couple of quick things about it.
We liked
Amazing game.
And it was, everything that I've read about it is like, I agree with totally. It's just a really great new way of interactive storytelling. Like you're actually using the medium. It's something you couldn't just watch.
Yeah.
It has, what's it called? Not physical, but
they're kind of like,
feedback.
And I wouldn't call them mini games, but there's like mini things you do. And it's not really something you can do with
a series of vignettes.
Yeah.
Each one telling a story in a different gameplay style.
Yeah.
Some of them you're flying, and some of them you're controlling just a person's arms, and some of them you're actually a person. Obviously, we're going to go way into more detail in the spoiler section, but just the way that they crafted each of the stories, and each of the stories is based around a member of the Finch family.
Mm-hmm. And they're all told totally different ways.
Mm-hmm.
and they all just a lot of them are, heartbreaking. A lot of them are fun and exciting. They're just it's a really interestingly crafted story, and as well, as you're walking through the world, the narration is written on the screen in big bright letters, but it kind of blends into the environment.
Yeah.
And it just works so seamlessly. It's like watching a poem unfold or a short story. It's just, it's really amazing. Ellie, you said Amy watched a little bit of it with you, did you?
Yeah. She only watched like the last 2 or 3 the vignettes that I did, and she had no background with the story. She hadn't seen anything up to that point, so it's not like she was eager to see what happened next, but she just kind of came in at this one story and just like was glued to the TV and was like, this is amazing. What is this? It was just like, like, I mean, I found myself just kind of staring at the screen with my jaw open sometimes. Like, man, it's really like, if you haven't played it, you have to play it as soon as you can. It was one of the better storytelling experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, and it's not very long. You can probably finish it in a day, so it's not a.
Oh, definitely. It was 2 hours maximum, I'd say.
I clocked 2 hours on it. Yeah, it's really, you can't die. You just play through the stories.
I found it started off just a little bit slowly, when you're getting into the house at first, and everything's locked up and you're not sure where you're meant to go. But once it introduces the characters in turn and you start to get into the stories, and you like after you play the first 2 or 3 and you're like, okay, this is the structure. I'm going to enjoy this. And I feel like it finished on a high as well, Elliot. So I think Amy probably enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Great game.
Totally.
So what else? We'll save that for later, but what else you got for us, Elliot?
So I played an older game that I've had for a while. It was free on Plus, SteamWorld Dig.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Way back. I popped it onto my Vita. And so what inspired this was one of the new friends we made in West Virginia, John, had just bought, he had a Switch there too, and he was raving about SteamWorld Dig 2. Last second, literally, it must have been 9 minutes before midnight, I ran up and bought it because No New
Lies!
Games 2018.
Lies! He's broken No New Games 2018.
No, I bought it at West Virginia.
I want to see a transaction receipt. I want to see an email.
I'll show it to you.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna see if I started playing it?
No. Go ahead.
I started playing it.
No. Go ahead.
On your Switch.
Go ahead.
Tell us about SteamWorld Dig, Elliot.
So,
okay, he's okay. West Virginia's in Eastern time. I was checking to see if it was Central, and he was cheating by going to Central time to get an extra hour.
that would have counted. But anyway, so I bought SteamWorld Dig 2. I played like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, I think I have one. This looks really familiar. So I stopped, literally booted up 1, and 2 sit downs with it later I had to finish.
Wow.
I couldn't put it down. It was one of the most like addictive gaming experiences I've ever had. I was powerless. Like literally my second playthrough, I was playing it while I was editing a podcast. And
second playthrough?
Like my second sit down with it, sorry. I was just kind of had it going while the podcast was going. It was like midnight. I looked down at the Vita. I looked back up and it was 4 a.m. Like I had no sense of where the time went.
I did that a few times as well. I played it on Vita as well. And a couple of times at 11:30, I was like, I'll play 30 minutes of it, just before I go to sleep. And it's 2:30 a.m. And not again. I can't believe I did it.
Not again.
Yeah.
You're the world is awesome. You're like, and this is an older game. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'm sure everyone at least either knows about it or has played it. But you're this.
Has it been
robot
on PS Plus yet?
Yeah, that's why I have it.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
I wasn't looking for it. This is SteamWorld Dig 1.
Yeah.
Because I started off talking about it too. Just want. And you're this robot. You're in this kind of old west steampunky town, and lots of desert and like old saloons and that kind of style of talking, and everyone else is a robot. The whole world's inhabited by these robots, and you have a pickaxe and you just start digging on the ground beneath you to like discover what the hell's down there. And it's essentially a Metroidvania. You're just kind of making your way through. I think like the main overworld map is procedurally generated or like kind of random.
Yep.
But then they have these pre-designed rooms you can go into every so often to either get a new ability, such as like the double jump or the drill or things like that.
Right.
And then,
or your special punch.
Yeah, the punch. You can also get like life ups and stuff like that. But other than that, you're pretty much just digging your way to the bottom, and it gets crazier and crazier the more and more you find. And yeah, it's really simple, really, really, really addictive.
Totally.
It's
that combination of like variable environments. Everything's 2D, and everything is you're picking your way through blocks, and that never changes. But the color palettes change, and the enemies change, and your abilities change, and you feel you have that lovely feeling of progression as you work your way further down into these mines. Your actual skill set increases, and once you get a new thing, you just have to use it. You have to explore a little bit further now that you have this. It's got that hook. It's really good. And the fact that it was on PS Plus and you can play it on Vita, it would be a perfect airplane game. It is. It's a really great game. If you've got it on PS Plus and you've got a Vita, play it.
I'm about to get back to it. I played about an hour, and then I enjoyed it. It was, I don't know. I try to think of why I stopped. Again, probably saw something shiny, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I clocked I think 7 hours altogether when I finished it, and yeah, I just wanted more.
Yeah.
So
I'll give it another shot.
Elliot, I feel bad. You so far the two games you've completed, I completed at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you played?
The last one was The Last Guardian. I finally finished it, which is also a game that I've talked about a few times on here, so I don't want to like gush about it again in the same way, but one of the most powerful, amazing gaming experiences I've ever had, which is like what I said after I played Shadow of the Colossus as well, which is
you
the same
love that,
creator.
Those games.
Minimal story, minimal narrative. This one had a bit more actually. There's like there's the
narration's cool, and
but even that's few and far between. It's not too often, but it's got that same like emotional impact, that same sense of wonder of like what is really going on here. How did this all get here? It's just like this ridiculous stone like vertical labyrinth carved out of rock, and you're just working your way through it, and you have that weird bird dog thing, and your relationship with him develops, and he's so emotive and so expressive, and you've seen that animal before, even if it's like your own pet or a pet you had, like it is a living, breathing animal, and you get so attached. You're the best friends in the world, and oh man, that whole relationship, the dynamic, the art. You mentioned you're playing it as well, Steve. You mentioned the art is phenomenal.
Art style is beautiful. It looks hand painted, and the colors it absolutely looks like a painting. It's beautiful. I played a few more hours of it between the last time we recorded and now, and I can kind of give the bird dog orders, but still kind of learning and building up that relationship. But as you say, it's a really beautiful game. I'm totally grabbed by the story. I'm gonna try and beat it for the next episode, maybe, or the one after.
Definitely.
I will be waiting a year.
Yeah.
You can borrow one of our. Wait, have we never talked about borrowing games?
Oh, we could definitely loan each other games.
Yeah,
I think we could.
Do you have it on disc, Elliot? I think I bought it digital.
I've got it on disc. Yeah.
Ah, that's pretty cool. Do that.
Yeah.
Well, I did send you Persona 5, so you do kind of owe me.
Well, I'm not giving it to you.
I know.
I want to keep this thing forever.
Well, I know.
I love this one. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd be happy to. Speaking of Persona 5, I should play that too. But that's a whole other episode.
Now that you're on a game completing run, Elliot, I'm sure you could do it. Like Persona 5, easy.
Nothing would stop my streak faster than trying to do a Persona game next.
Oh man.
But yeah, Last Guardian, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record today, but if you haven't played it, absolutely play it. Like, I slept on it last year. There's, end of the year, you buy whatever you can because everything's on sale. And that was just one that got left behind. And I didn't even think about it until recently when I picked it up at the end of the last year. And
does it still have the trademark jank of those games?
Yeah.
Okay.
It controls exactly the same as that of Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay. So
which
annoying, but tolerable.
It's annoying. It's tolerable. I tell myself, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or off it to you guys, but I excuse it as he's a kid who's weak and like delirious, and the controls make you feel that.
Yeah.
Which is totally apologist way to think about it, but
that's pretty good. You can roll with that.
I think it applies in some ways, and I feel like Fumito Ueda probably said that at some point about Eco, but yeah, man, 3 games to start off the year that I finished have just left me completely, like, in different ways, mind blown. It's gonna be a really fun year catching up on these games.
It's all downhill from here, Elliot.
I know.
What about you, Josh? Have you just been beating all the games again?
So I've beat, I beat Edith Finch, like Elliot said, and we all did. Other than that, I've played through. I finally beat Horizon. So
nice. Me too. Actually, that was one of the bigger games that I tackled this time out as well.
Yeah. So Horizon Zero Dawn was a ton of fun, and I had started playing it months ago. And then I guess my niece had started playing on my profile, and when I loaded it up, I was like, "Why the fuck am I level 7?" I was like level 21 or something. I'm like, and I'm looking through the auto saves, and I don't see anything in there, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, is it gone?" And so I ended up like starting a new game and playing through like the entire tutorial before finally scrolling down the whole way, and like down at the very bottom was like a manual save I had made. And I was like, "Well, god damn it!" So,
oh like, man,
I mean,
so you didn't.
All I did was play through the tutorial, so I went back and loaded up the old one, so it wasn't too bad. It was still like 2 hours extra that I didn't need to play, but
it's so funny, Josh. When you told us, "Oh, the game has wiped my save," I was thinking in my head, "You have 2 children, 2 teenagers living with you now. Are you sure they don't like video games?"
Well, I
didn't want to daub on them. I didn't want.
Well, the reason I was very confused was because she had just done the main stuff. So she was about as far like as I was in the story. So when I loaded up the save, I was like, yeah, this is about where I was. And so I was like, what the hell? Where's all my stuff? That's why I was very confused to begin with, because I was like, how the hell? She couldn't have gotten here this quickly. But no, she apparently just did the main things, didn't explore anything. So
Eric, if you're listening, this is what you have to look forward to when Freya gets older.
Yeah. So, it was a lot of fun. I was honestly surprised how relatively short the main quest was, and I ended up getting the platinum, and it took me like 36 hours, I think, maybe total.
That's pretty great.
But I mean, it's a pretty easy platinum. There's only like 1 or 2 things outside of just collectibles that take some extra time to find. But yeah, the 2 biggest things I want to say are like, and we kind of talked about one of these during the Game of the Year episode, was the graphics are fantastic, just the technical scale of everything. I really enjoyed just kind of exploring the world, even though, like, I have a map that points out where everything is, so it's not like I'm really exploring, but it was fun to just kind of go around, maybe find a data point or something that was hiding. But the other thing I really enjoyed was the voice acting was really good. And I had no idea. I did not know my boy Lance Reddick was in there until later on. I was like, oh, that's him. Okay. And they made him look just like him. I was just like, oh, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, the voice acting was pretty great. I did find her a little bit wooden from time to time.
I liked her. I thought Ashley Birch did a great job.
I thought there was times when she had so much character and when she was like funny or like stern in a funny way.
Yeah.
But there were times where it just felt like her reaction to someone saying something quite, energetic was a bit flat, and I was kind of like, oh, come on, like, ham it up a bit for the camera.
See, on the other hand, though, like, so not during the cutscenes, but like right after a cutscene, or like right after you get a call or someone, she'll start talking like just to herself, and I thought those were the best, because she was saying what you're thinking, like, oh my god, I've got to do this again, or stuff like that. So, and I thought her reactions there were really, really well done.
Oh, there's one when she's getting out of water, and she's like, my hair's all wet. Oh, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a take the piss of Tomb Raider when she gets out of the of the thing, like shakes her hair and like all the water shakes out, and then her hair is kind of perfect or something. Or maybe I'm reading more into that. That's not actually there. Yeah. But it reminded me so much of like Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I didn't even notice she does that in Rise of the Tomb Raider. I feel like they did that to show off like the hair effects.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was as well, to be honest. Maybe I'm reading more into it.
But yeah, and I thought the story was really good too. I mean, it was presented in a really good way, and then as you kind of unfold like what the hell happened and what the hell is going to happen, it's pretty interesting. And Ellie, you have it, right? But you haven't played it?
I have it, but I haven't even booted it up.
Yeah, you should put that on your list. It's good.
I know.
Yeah, Ellie, you got through the Tomb Raiders as well. It is
the first one.
Oh, just the first one. You'll find it kind of similar at first, and it is similar and better. It's really good. The controls feel great. Taking down giant robot dinosaurs is always the most fun ever.
I like the variety of the ways you could do it too. I mean, eventually I kind of settled into like, okay, if this guy shows up, I'm going to do this thing. If this guy shows up, I'm going to use this thing. And even like when I got to like the final boss, I was like, oh, I'm going to use this thing that I don't normally use. I mean, you can use it and it's useful, but I was just like, I never use this. Let me use this, and that ended up being pretty useful. But yeah, there's you can end up like you set traps for enemies, you could tie them down, you could freeze them, stun them, set them on fire. There's just a whole bunch of different ways to kind of manage mobs if you're getting surrounded or something. And some of the hunting challenges are pretty nuts, especially if you don't know how to do like enemy aggro management, if you will.
Yeah. When I first uncovered the hunting guild, or what do you call it, the hunters?
Damn it. You mean the main one or the?
As in when you become part of it, and you can go to. Well, I guess you can go to the hunting quest at any point, can you?
Well, you if you come across like the hunting ranges where you can go do the 3 different objectives, then you can do those at any point, I think. But once you've completed 3 of them, then you're able to get into the Hunter's Lodge or whatever it's called.
The Hunter's Lodge. That was the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
But once it lists out all the ones that you have to do, and I had done a couple of them and got full burst suns, or what do you call it?
Blazing suns.
Blazing suns. I was hooked. I basically went and did all of those before doing anything else, except for one of them that was pretty hard. Against the big giant T-Rex kind of thing.
Where you had to override it? Where you had to override the 2 smaller ones or something? And
to kill it. Yeah, that was the one.
That one was hard, yeah.
Yeah, so I got basically full sun in that one, which isn't the blazing sun. And I went and leveled up a few times before going back and finishing it off. But those were so much fun. I totally got sidetracked by those. And as you say, the fact that the main quest was quite short, I really love that. I liked that all of the side quests were fun and interesting, and it made you want to do those. And as well, you didn't feel like, oh, now I have to go do this big long story. I thought it was all quite compact and quite dense and really it's fun. It kept me engaged all the way through, you know?
Yeah, the only complaint I have about the game is that they did the same thing that The Witcher did, which is you track so much shit.
It is so true.
So many side quests are like find the trail. Okay, follow the trail using your focus.
I definitely thought that.
You do that so much, but it's the story that goes along with each of the side quests is usually pretty good. So there's at least an incentive to follow the damn trail. But you're like, oh my god, I just did this again. Fine, just get there so I know what happens.
But I think, Ellie, you'll appreciate how manageable it is. You will be able to finish it, and you will want to finish it, and you'll want to keep playing it. It's a better Tomb Raider, basically.
Yeah.
And Tomb Raider was good.
From what I've heard, you guys talking about it, and pretty much everyone, and I saw the No Clip documentary that you linked to. About
Did you watch any of it?
I watched the beginning, so to be honest, I only watched up until they finished talking about Killzone, which is Guerrilla Games' last franchise. That was fascinating. Like for that whole time, I forgot where I was watching a Horizon documentary. In and of itself was so interesting.
Now that I've beaten it, I gotta watch it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you really do, Josh. And the breakdown of how they procedurally generated like all of the flora and fauna, and it is just amazing. It was absolutely mind-blowing, and the fact that it all runs so well, the fact that it all looks so good, it's a technical marvel. It's That was such an insight. I really enjoyed that no clip documentary.
Speaking of the fauna, it's a good thing Lily didn't watch me play that game because I killed a lot of bunnies.
Yeah, so did I. And foxes and raccoons.
Yeah.
Monsters.
So, yeah. So another one that I'm in the middle of playing is Elliot talked about SteamWorld Dig, but I picked up SteamWorld Heist a while back, which is like it's a turn-based strategy game, but it's set on a 2D plane, and so you take your party members and you move them using whatever you have a turn to move, you have a turn to act, and it's basically you're a SteamWorld pirate you're a steampunk robot pirate captain type thing.
It's Firefly with robots.
Basically, yeah, it's Firefly
and
with robots.
A 2D XCOM.
Yeah.
Game.
And basically you're trying to clear out all these other pirates that are in the area, and so you board their ship and go in and either collect all the loot or kill the boss at the end of the stage or kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you have to take I'm playing on the veteran difficulty, which is right above normal, and it's difficult. There are a lot of times because you don't have a lot of HP, and you have like 6 to 9 HP for everybody, and I mean you might get more as you level up, but things can do up to like 5 damage a turn, so you're constantly like you have to make sure you're behind cover, you have to make sure like maybe you can hit a guy using a ricochet rather than hitting him straight in the face. It's a lot of fun, but there have been a few missions where I've been like, okay, I need to come back later when I have better stuff.
Yeah, I started playing it as well after I finished SteamWorld Dig. I wanted more SteamWorlds, and I think I told you guys a story. I happened to have downloaded the Twitch desktop app at the time and noticed the games tab, and I clicked on it and it said SteamWorld Heist. I'd have it for some reason. So I also started playing it same time as you, Josh, and just want to echo the difficulty. Like it starts off fine, and I also started on veteran, like the one above normal, and I did not get down to normal. And even then I'm barely scraping by some of these stages. It's brutal.
I really like the fourth dude you get. No, fourth or fifth. The big burly dude with a grenade launcher. He takes a lot of hits for me. But I'm almost done. The game's divided I think into 3 sections, and I'm almost done with the first. I think I've got 1 or 2 missions left in that one, so hopefully I'll have that knocked out soon. But I'm enjoying it so far.
I don't think I'll ever finish it. It's too hard.
I might jump into that as well. I've got it from a Humble Bundle on PC. And obviously the SteamWorld, haven't played SteamWorld Dig. I kind of dig the...
yes.
Terrible.
Heist it as well.
I really appreciate the world as it is, and that steampunky vibe, and the characters are kind of funny and kind of quirky. Yeah. It really is, could definitely draw me back in. But I've been on a bit of a tactics kick myself. Like I've been playing... Invisible Ink is a fucking hard game too, by the way. So I think we all have it on PS Plus.
Yeah,
I think I downloaded it. Either way, I think I have it on Steam also. So
yeah, it is a fantastic game. You start out controlling 2 spies, and you're dropped in. You're trying to infiltrate this like mega corporations, futuristic evil corp, and you're trying to steal secrets and stuff from them, or presumably assassinate targets and things. But it is XCOM style, isometric view, turn-based, but it has this thing where the alert level is constantly ticking up, and enemies are being added to the game board as you go. And it's just this really tense feeling all the time. I tried playing it on regular with no rewinds, and I just got annihilated for the first few times. Similar to SteamWorld Dig, as you say, Elliot.
Heist,
but
I'll give that a shot. Well, Heist also, there are some missions where you have
SteamWorld Heist.
SteamWorld Heist has countdown timers in some of them. So after X amount of turns, enemies start spawning again. And usually after you're done with the mission, you have to escape somehow. And that's when you're like, oh God, there's more enemies coming. Quick, run.
Yeah, that's where I keep dying, is when I'm trying to escape, because the turrets come out and just like fuck you up.
So here's a tip. If you have on a mission where you can do this, get 2 of your other 2 guys and space them out along the way back before you pick up the final thing or do the final thing you need to do. And that way, if enemies start spawning, you can start shooting them on your way out.
So I I haven't finished with everyone alive yet, like in at least 3 or 4 missions.
So you can replay missions to get the water that you need to spend on stuff. So if you need to go back and like get some money so you can buy better stuff, you can go replay a mission.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
So I've got one more.
What else have you been playing?
One more game I played, and I beat this in like 2 days. It's called Night in the Woods. It just came out like a few months ago, maybe on PC, and I think it's coming out on Switch in February. Had I played this in 2017, I probably would have put it somewhere on my Game of the Year list near the top.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. Like it's got this. So the story is you play as this anthropomorphic cat named May, M-A-E, and everybody's an anthropomorphic animal in this game, who's coming home from college her sophomore year after dropping out, and she's heading back home to her town of Possum Springs, which is like a dying mill town in rural wherever. And so, but the game, it's all about like she goes back and like meets her family and meets her friends, and most of the game is you spending time with your friends or talking to other people, not the town. It's like an adventure game, like not really point and click, but that style of game. Not a whole. Yeah. There's a few minor puzzles, but nothing really like that taxes your brain or anything. But it's just the story is really well done, and the dialogue is actually like what I would expect people to be saying in these situations. It's really realistic. It's just it really just floored me with how well it's all done. And the graphics are like this 2D, it's 2-dimensional, but it's like, I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. Kind of like South Park, but not really South Park.
Strong bad.
It's very colorful. Yeah, kind of, I guess. But I really like the style. Like everything just looks beautiful. And if it's running at 60 FPS on my PC, it looks just great in motion. Also, the music's amazing. The music is amazing.
Like everything.
Yeah, so the story picks up along the way, but it really just gets down to like May's interactions with her friends, and like she doesn't understand what they're going through. They don't understand what she's going through, but they kind of learn more about each other as the story goes along. It's just really, really well done. I cannot recommend it enough. It's fantastic.
Well, you're gonna have to buy it for Elliot for his birthday now. I'm gonna have to sit around and just not have it.
I'm thinking about it. But yeah, if you are buying games this year, someone go out and buy Night in the Woods. It's amazing.
Man. Josh, did you ever play Oxenfree?
No, but I was talking to someone that actually I have Oxenfree.
I think we all have it. Was it on PS Plus or
no? Broken Age was on PS Plus. I think I have Oxenfree on Steam, but I think I have it. But I was talking to someone else that had played Night in the Woods, and she said to me, she's like, "Have you played Oxenfree?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Do that next." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Yeah. Wow. So that's what I was wondering, because again, 2D style, dialogue is very realistic, and you can choose whether to interrupt people or like basically hear them out, and it trails, but it's much more like natural and flowing dialogue than say Walking Dead or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like all these games with like not like mid-teens going through shit is all in the fucking Pacific Northwest. Like,
yeah, a lot of them are.
Night in the Woods,
Edith Finch.
Maybe, I don't know. It reminded me of like a Pittsburgh rural suburb sort of type thing, because they talk about like dying mills and stuff. So I guess it could be around more of that area, but yeah, it's not specific. So
Life is Strange is the other one as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have that one too. I need to play that.
Why is it Pacific Northwest?
Yeah,
because that's where the cool kids hang out.
I know. Hi guys. I'll work on my near middle-aged angst game soon.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty much it for me right now, Steve-O.
Apart from Invisible Ink, oh yeah, the rest of the tactics kick. Mario and Rabbids.
Good man.
Which, Elliot, have you played much of it? Josh, obviously I know you dominated it.
Yeah.
A little.
I'm still in the first world, but I think like map 8 or 9 right now. So I'm just like slowly chipping away every night.
So you're still learning everything.
Yeah. That's, that was one of the things I was going to mention. Like, I love the fact that it is XCOM style, turn-based strategy. You can only take a certain number of steps. You can jump off one of your own
Love
teammates to move further. You can slide into an opponent and then bounce off to position yourself. I love that there's all of these little, quirks and additions to the regular XCOM format, but also I love that in typical Nintendo style, even though I realize it's made by Ubisoft and not Nintendo, it builds up your skill set and it introduces mechanics and controls to you iteratively. And I feel like I'm in complete control of everything that I've done so far. And I feel like I'm still learning and they're still introducing things to me. But it's that thing that Nintendo does. It makes everything approachable. And it means anyone could play this game basically and really, really enjoy it. And the rabbits aren't the worst. and it is kind of funny. And, it's a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's taken over from me from SteamWorld Dig as my game to play like before going to sleep. It's excellent.
There's actually there was a recent article that was one of the XCOM guys was talking about Mario on Mario Rabbids, and he was like, yes, it's amazing. Here it is. He's like he's talking about the things like movement and stuff like that. He says, like an example, in XCOM, moving a soldier is typically a simple case of running them from cover A to cover B. That's how it's always been. It's not something I ever thought of changing until I played Mario Rabbids. That is, where movement is a chain of interesting decisions like springboarding off your squad mates, sliding through your enemies, rolling through warp tunnels, all before you fire a single shot. Movement in Kingdom Battle adds a whole new layer of tactical interest every turn. It jolted me into reconsidering one of XCOM's design principles.
Wow.
So they're big fans of it too.
Dang.
Who is that guy? He speaks very eloquently. We should get him on the podcast.
It's Jake Solomon. He was the lead designer of XCOM.
Friend of the show, future guest.
Yeah, you should look up that article. It's pretty good.
I'm getting such a kick out of it at the moment. As I said, it's a perfect game that, because it's sectioned off in the different battles that you have. You said, Elliot, there's more than 9 in the first world. I was kind of expecting it to be like 4 or 5 or something.
When I hit 8, I was like, how long is this going to keep going? So
but that's great. It means you can like tackle it like a series or something.
There's 10 in each world plus a bonus one.
Cool.
And then there's a bunch of challenges that unlock after you finish a world.
Jeez.
So you run through, do all the missions in the final one, then you run through again, doing all the challenges and the special mission, and then finding all the stuff you missed.
Yeah, that's right. There's lots of things that I'm coming up to now here and there, and it's saying I don't know how to do this yet. So I know there's going to be a bit of backtracking to pick up all the things.
Yeah, when you finish a world, you open up new ways to do things. So
such a fun game.
I love it. Yeah, like you said, the tactics hit between SteamWorld Heist and Mario Rabbids is definitely being fulfilled right now, and it's like I never played XCOM. I haven't really done much tactics gaming in a long time, so I'm really having a good time.
You know what it really brought back to me as well, though? This is the lull. This is the quiet period.
Yeah.
Like, we can finally dip into all these games, which, like, Invisible Ink is a game that I would have thought, it could take forever because it's quite tricky. And if I want to play it at a respectable difficulty or something, it might take a while. But the fact that there's no games coming out now, and even better, the fact that we're not planning on buying games, I'm not stressed out about, I should be playing this newer thing. And I'm not worried about, should I pick up this game that's on sale? And should I add it to my backlog or play it immediately? I'm actually taking the time to delve into a PS Plus game that otherwise I would never play. I would never play Invisible Ink if I was worried about games coming out this year that I have to play the stories of, or games last year that I have to play the stories of. It's like a weight has been lifted.
It's true.
Long live No New Games 2018.
It's freeing in a weird way. Like it
really is.
You see like the sale threads come up in like the Wario 64 Twitter posts, and you're just like,
nope.
Don't need to do it. Don't need to like fret over it. Don't need to sit there and think, shit, should I get this?
Yeah.
Because the answer is no, and I'm gonna play the fucking amazing games that we picked up.
And Elliot, you have like typified this by jumping into a monster of a game. Demon Souls.
Oh, God. That's what you meant. Yeah.
I was about to say Dark Souls on Switch is coming out.
Yeah, and so we're going to mention that in a minute, but just before, I'm not going to talk too much about Demon Souls because I've only finished 1-1, which is exactly as far as I've gotten before 3 previous times. So,
well, at least you know more about the world now. Elliot didn't realize that this game is consistently saving. That if you exit out at any point, that it saves your progress.
Spend time. I can't.
He thought that you had to run through these impossible levels, killing everything, and make your way back to the starting point if you ever want to quit. That's not the case. You can quit at any time after killing one enemy.
In fairness,
and you would be fine.
I knew that in 2010. I forgot it over the last 7 years. But yeah, it's awesome. I'm definitely sticking very close to a guide because
use it.
The servers are shutting down February 25th or end of February. So this is my last shot to play it as it was meant to be played. And it's a really good motivator to get it done. So far, so good. I thought I was gonna go for a platinum run right off the bat, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. It's like biting off more than I can chew, and
it's not hard. It's just time consuming.
Well, what ultimately made me decide not to was all the platinum guides I saw said play offline, and so that totally defeats the purpose of trying to get it before the servers shut off.
I'll be honest, I played it all offline.
You did?
I did.
Did you platinum it, Josh?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Both Demons and Dark Souls 2, I'm not doing that. So
you're a machine, man.
Yeah, we knew that about him.
Dark Souls, I would say Dark Souls 1 is easily the most difficult game I've ever completed.
Jeez.
It was brutal. And I used a guide, but the amount of grinding and redoing the same level over and over just to get to that boss and get annihilated again, even with a guide. And I mean, when I did it the way the guide said, it would usually be plain sailing. But some of the bosses are just straight up hard. There's no two ways about it. They're amazing games. From Software make great games.
It is fun.
I've got Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne on my to-do list, so
nice.
I'm trying to decide which one of those I should be playing first.
Wait on Bloodborne because we might do that for our roulette one day.
Okay.
Okay. Roulette.
So you play Dark Souls 3 and we'll all play Bloodborne together one day.
Okay.
But yeah, having a lot of fun. That's going to be my main focus for now. But
Elliot, can I ask you, stream it?
I don't have it's PS3 only. PS3 exclusive.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, we got to find you in Elgato.
Give him your Elgato.
Yeah.
Post that. One of the other things that you'll find about it, Elliot, is even though it's like brutally difficult and really frustrating, and when you do the thing where you beat a boss and you get all these souls and then you die before getting to bank them, that is the moment when you're going to be like, fuck this shit, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm done with this. But that'll happen to you once and you'll be like, I can't believe this game, it's so unfair, it's terrible. It'll happen to you a second time out of stupidity, having known that and just like being stupidly forgetting to cash them in, and then you will never fucking do it ever again. From then on, you'll be like, I'll never do that again because my life isn't worth it.
Well, that won't happen to him until he plays Dark Souls, because in Demon Souls, once you beat a boss, you get a little thing right there that you can warp back to.
It takes you right back.
Oh,
it's a bit more forgiving.
Yeah, that's right. They're completely sectioned off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so you can't complain about that.
Nope. Looking forward to it.
How many times did the dragon kill you?
I haven't died yet.
What?
Like I said, I've done 1-1 like 3 or 4 times now, and I'm
now you can level up at least
closely to a guide. There was one moment that was harrowing as shit because the guide is like, jump down into this area and clear out like the 4 enemies sitting there. So I jumped down, accidentally rolled off onto the following area where I get swarmed by 15 dudes and an archer shooting at me the whole time. And I lived. I fucking lived. I killed them all. I was rolling and backing up and like the further I backed up, the more guys I like drew in. But
lots of fire bombs.
Then eventually, luckily none of them have fire bombs. Luckily, the only projectile was the archer guy.
No, I meant you using the fire bombs on them.
No, because I knew I had to save it for the boss.
Yeah.
But no, because I'm a royal, and so I was just like spamming my shooting at them and then just rolling out of the way and hitting them when I could.
You're playing easy. You're playing easy mode.
This is a new Elliot.
It was, man. So when they all died and everything was like quiet, I was just like sweating, heaving for air. Like I felt like I'd run a mile.
And then while he waits, someone comes up from behind and goes plink and
just spikes you in the back.
Like, why? Oh man, it was so close.
Okay, well, Royal's easy mode, so you should be fine.
That's what I've heard.
I can't believe this. This is like the world has been flipped on its head.
All these games I'm playing.
No new games. 2018 is the most amazing thing that's ever happened. Elliot has completed 3 games and he's playing Demon Souls. The world's gone mad.
That's what I haven't completed. The Last of Us.
You had to bring it up.
Or Silent Hill.
I'll get there.
So, but I guess then, are you going to be sad that you're going to be missing out on the new Nintendo announcement?
Yeah, so that's what I want to get into next here, because that shit, well, some people are happy about it. Some people are really angry that Nintendo made something that isn't for them.
I know.
The Nintendo Labo, which is the video going around is very popular. If you haven't seen it yet, it's basically cardboard do-it-yourself controller peripherals and accessories that go with the Switch. Like you put the coolest one that I saw that starts off the whole thing was they print out it's basically a cardboard stencil. You pop out the shapes, you fold them according to the directions, and it makes this little cardboard piano, this little keyboard, and then they stick the IR receiver end of the right Joy-Con in to face the inside of the piano. So when you push a key, it sees which key is being moved, and then the Switch generates the sound.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely amazing application of this technology. And like you look at this.
There's one for there's a fishing rod one. Where like you put the Joy-Cons into the side so you can reel it in, and you put the Switch down below and you can see the fish you're trying to catch, and the Joy-Con will rumble when you're about to catch one, so you got to like pull it up and catch the fish and then reel it in. And then
there was one that you put both Joy-Cons in either side of the Switch screen, and you use them as motorcycle,
yeah.
Rev the engine.
And then the one with where it looked like you were like a Transformer, like Optimus Prime, where it gives you like a backpack, and then like use the Joy-Cons to punch. Is there like a VR thing in that one, like a headset you put the Switch in, or is that
no? He was looking at the TV, so he was.
The TV. Okay, gotcha.
I didn't really see the difference between that and arms, to be honest, but that's just, I don't know.
It looks so cool. It's like it's an ingenious way to use the technology that comes with the Switch. Like you see that they made the Switch, you see that they have these motion controls in there, and you see why they did it. And the concept in and of itself is ingenious for playing video games in all these different ways. Then they just took those simple technologies and were like, hey, we're just going to use the motion accelerometer and the IR receiver and build this fucking like creative playground. And it's marketed more towards kids, where building the devices is part of the experience, and you see how they work, you see how things go together, and the software that comes with it has a programming mode where you can code your own programs to use with
to see how that all works.
Like,
I did not realize
incredible. It's like you want to teach your kid how like to be an engineer or a mechanic or a programmer. Just stick them in a room with this. Like I have a nephew who's almost 4 years old. I can't wait till he gets old enough to play with this. I want to buy him a Switch with Labo. I think he'd fucking go insane over it.
Yeah, it is very interesting. It's something I'm sitting there going like, why is that? I don't know. I'm just flabbergasted that someone in a meeting was like, what if we sell people cardboard? And I mean, I'm not knocking him for it. It's an ingenious thing. I mean, obviously some people are very angry about it online, but it's just I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's odd. It's great. It's just very weird.
Well, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. It follows. Nintendo are a toy maker.
Yeah.
They made playing cards. They made physical things before video games. the fact that they have engineers to come up with this kind of thing
Yeah.
is amazing, and I have so much like respect for it. It's not something that I'm gonna buy, or then again, when Elliot talks about it like that, being able to show kids this, and I'm like, well, maybe once my little niece gets a few years older, maybe I would want to pick it up.
Yeah.
Right.
But for now, as a game player, it doesn't really interest me.
So it's not for you. Yet you're not angry that it exists.
Exactly.
How adult of you, Steve-O.
I was about to say, thank you for being an adult, Steve-O.
I honestly want to get it for myself. I think it's just one of those things that I know I'd put it together once and never use it again. But
yeah,
and I know I'm caught up in the hype, but it's ingenious. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like
it definitely is. But there are levels of things that I'm happy having sitting around my house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've got a Switch and a PS4 and an Xbox One, which I rarely use, and Super Nintendo Classic, and a banana hip flask. And like some of those things get used a lot, and some of them are just sitting there, and it's like it's okay that they're sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think about, what if I had a PlayStation VR, and it was sitting around? It's like, I wouldn't really want to have that sitting around. I'm not going to use it. And it's not that I'd be embarrassed about it. It's just that I would feel like, oh, there's a waste of money that I'm not using. If I had a load of cardboard built things sitting around, like I used to have Legos. I used to love Lego and Lego Technic. When I was a kid, I would build all of them, and then they would just kind of sit there and look great. But then they would get dusty, and it's like, well, what's the point if you're not breaking them all up and building new things with them, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm a grown-ass man. I don't need cardboard things built and not used in my house.
Yeah. I'm where I am with Elliot too. I was like, I'm really excited about it, but it is probably one of those things where I'd play it for like a week and then be like, okay, that was fun. So probably not for me, but I'm still excited to see what happens with it, especially with the whole make your own stuff.
The make your own program, if that's legit, I might get it for that, just to like fuck around.
Yeah. So, I mean, Steve-O was, I was very impressed that Steve-O was an adult. So moving on, let's talk about Metal Gear Survive.
Which we're all boycotting, right?
Steve-O?
Because we love Kojima more than we love
I'll be honest, I saw gameplay of it about a week or so ago when they released it. It looks interesting.
Yeah, no,
I kind of want to give it a try. I mean, I'm not going to buy it, obviously, but there's a beta going on. I guess it starts right now. I might give it a shot just because I loved the gameplay of the Phantom Pain. Again, you can talk story all you want, but the gameplay itself was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that translates to somehow in Metal Gear Survive, I mean, I know there's a lot of like, I don't know, zombie hordes or whatever that are in there, so probably a lot less stealth and more
action,
run and gun. But it might be fun to at least try. So I'm planning on giving it a shot. But
is it co-op? Is the beta? Can we play together?
I honestly don't know.
We can find out after this podcast. My only hang up is, in terms of as far as boycotting, is Metal Gear is Kojima. If he made it what it is. He made it something that people want to buy, and Konami is just sticking the name on these assets that he made and trying to make money off of it. And that part just bugs me, because Metal Gear is one of my favorite franchises. Kojima is one of my favorite video game designers, and it's like, I'm not saying I won't play it, but I think it's shitty that they're still trying to capitalize on this guy.
There is online co-op. I just checked.
They're trying to capitalize on this guy that they just shat on and wanted nothing to do with. Kind of pissed me off.
And it was all about the story for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about the story until the most recent one came out. Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain came out, and then that kind of fell away, and it was about the gameplay, and it was about checking off boxes in your mission, your list of what's the word I'm looking for, Jesus? Objectives. Mission objectives. And that was amazing, but I guess they were already a little bit not Kojima. But to use the Metal Gear Solid name in something that's about horde mode zombies, it's not. Come on, Metal Gear was about stories. It was about worlds and a main character learning what the hell's going on,
and not figuring it out.
And
there's too much because there's too much shit.
Expecting a payoff at the end of a 30-year or whatever saga and not really getting it. But
yeah, I think it's over. Metal Gear Die.
Yeah, but Metal Gear Die.
Episode title.
What? Yeah. So the other one, which I'm kind of excited to play, but I'm not going to for a while, is the Dark Souls remaster on Switch. That's having a portable Dark Souls sounds like a pretty awesome thing to have.
Yeah, it's just amazing that this is coming. That's it's such a hardcore fucking game, and it's coming to Switch.
I want Demon Souls. I mean, it's a Sony thing, so it'd be on PS4, but I would love a remaster so I could play it again.
Guys, can I say something really controversial?
Yes.
I think the idea of a Souls game on Switch is fucking terrible.
What?
Why?
I think it's awful. I think, why would you want to play this thing on your commute? Why would you want to, this requires, games like the Souls games require all of your focus. They need you to take a half an hour to meditate before you play, completely relax, and then sit down and be at the top of your game. No twitching, no lapses in concentration. Focus.
Yeah, but what if I'm lying in bed and want to play it?
Get up off your arse, go lie on your sofa.
So that's the thing. So my counter argument is, like you said, you're going to die over and over and over and over and over again. And this way you don't have to do it glued to the same spot on your couch. You can do it in bed. You can do it walking around the house. You can do it at the club. You can do it at the bar.
And also, as Elliot learned, you can just turn it off when you need to stop.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing. So yeah, I mean,
I wonder, can we get Eric to buy it? Make it his new toilet game.
I think that'd be fun. Yeah, let us know, Eric, because you can still buy games.
So I think that's all the games we've played and most of the news we want to discuss during this time. But coming up, something that we haven't done in a while. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So it's been a while, but we're going to do a new backlog roulette.
What?
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, the last one I rolled was Metal Gear Rising, and in my move, I somehow misplaced my PlayStation 2 and my PlayStation 3. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. I moved an entire mile and a half away, and somehow that one box, I don't know where the fuck it is. So,
can I remind you that this is the man who gives Elliot dog's abuse about not having bought extra Sega Genesis games at some yard sale, and he's just gone and lost 2 classic consoles. Damn, dude.
Yeah, but mine wasn't a missed opportunity. Mine was just something that happened. Something happened that was bad.
Hey,
sounds more foolish to me.
You were in my shoes.
I would have bought more games. So
I'll get there.
For now, for the first one, since we have so many other games on our plate, we're just going to pick one game that all 3 of us are going to play at the same time, and hopefully have done before the next 2 episodes.
Hopefully, definitely. No messing around this time, lads. We're all in it. Just like No New Games 2018.
All right.
We can do this. Ellie's beating games. It's gonna happen.
True. It's true. I know. It's impressive.
So proud of him.
I'm proud of me
good
too.
Until March now. So I'll go first here. The one I want all of us to play. It's a fun little platforming game. Got a lot of boss fights. It should be pretty easy for us, I think. To knock out in a few weeks.
Don't do it.
It's going to be It's going to be a fun little game called Cuphead.
I did not see that.
We can do it, Elliot. You can watch a guide.
We're gonna die.
You can do it. And okay, let's do it like this, right? If we don't manage to beat the game by next time out, we forget about it and we re-roll.
But I really want to play it. It's just going to take me longer than 2 weeks.
Play it and beat it.
It's going to
stop.
You've been playing Demon Souls. You're a pro now at these types of these.
That's the thing. I'm taking so much abuse already. I don't need more.
So now you're used to it.
Okay, well, Elliot, I'll try and help out
say,
by picking something story-based as well.
I am excited.
You go first,
I do want a reason to play it. I'm just terrified that it's going to take me a long time because it's very hard. But we'll see.
Got a 1 in 3 chance.
Good pick. Is this my turn?
Yeah,
It
you're up.
certainly is.
Speaking of story-based alternatives that aren't impossible, one of the games that we all picked up towards the end of the year was Uncharted Lost Legacy, the sequel or like kind of DLC sequel-ish to Uncharted 4. It's in the same engine, but it's still pretty much a standalone experience. It's like 10, 12 hours long from what I've heard. So we all got to play it. Yeah. We've all played 4.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. 4 is a lot of fun, and I've heard a lot of good things about Lost Legacy. So that's a good choice.
Cool. Yeah. Hopefully we get
Steve-O.
that and not fucking Cuphead.
Last up is my good self, and I am going to go for a game that you ungrateful bastards probably wouldn't have played otherwise. Observer. We're gonna play Observer.
Nice.
It's an amazing steampunk world. It's meant to have a great story. I played the first scenario of it, and it's tense. It's fun. You're gonna enjoy it.
So Elliot either gets a difficult game, the one he picked, or one that has horror elements to it.
It's not that hard.
And you called me a dick for picking Silent Hill.
The odds are not in my favor.
I've read reviews that say it's a fun game even for people who don't like scary games. That's what I've heard.
Shall I do the honors?
Sure.
Can we trust him?
Yeah, he's rolling in Slack. No choice but to trust him.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh no, it just one just appeared. All right, I'll roll. I'll actually roll. 2. Uncharted.
Roll the 2.
Elliot survived.
I think in the 9 months we've been doing this podcast, this is the second time anyone has rolled anything that I picked. Ever.
Elliot is the unluckiest bastard when it comes to backlog.
Yay, Lost Legacy. I think we can all get behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. A good story. It's got 2 female protagonists. We should be able to roll through it pretty quickly. Take into it in sections. Play a couple hours here and there.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic about this.
We should get some Uncharted Online while we're at it too.
Good call.
Played that in a while.
Okay, cool. Well, Elliot, what do you say?
Good roulette, guys. We're going to wrap up this part of the podcast. As we mentioned at the start, we're going to do a bit of an What Remains of Edith Finch spoilerific discussion coming up after this. But for those of you leaving us right now, we'll do our sign off. This has been Rather Be Playing. You can catch more of us in between episodes here at ratherbycast.com. We're on Twitter. Our podcast updates are on at RBP Cast, and I'm at RBP Elliot. Stevo's at RBP Stevo. Josh is at RBP Josh. Wherever podcasts can be found. If you go on iTunes or Stitcher, Android, Google, jump on there, give us a like, give us a review, drop us a line, say something nice. We respond very well to the compliments.
Share us with your friends and your family and your people.
Tell everyone you know. If you have any questions, shoot them to questions@ratherbycast.com, and we will read them on the air and have deep discussions about them.
Deep.
Very deep.
And if you have no intention of ever playing What Remains of Edith Finch yourself, hang around and listen to our spoilers.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
You might enjoy it. But
no, they will enjoy it.
Sorry. You're right, Josh. You're right. I'm underselling it. But if you're leaving us now, it's been fun. We will catch you in 2 weeks. But if you're hanging around, let's get into Edith Finch.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Slán go fóill.
All right.
It means goodbye in Irish.
I believe you. I believe that's what that was. But it gave me pause.
All right, guys. So we all completed What Remains of Edith Finch this past few weeks.
We beat a game.
I know. So what remains?
Not much, apparently.
My heart was broken.
Yeah.
My tiny little Irish heart was broken by this game. I absolutely adored it.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
It was all the emotional heartstrings, all the surprise after surprise as well. Like, I don't know how many times I was just left with my jaw open and like that pain in like the pit of your stomach, like what the fuck, like the baby in the bathtub.
Oh god.
Oh guys.
Yes. After like because I walked into the game not knowing a whole lot about it or anything, and so I mean, yes, she starts talking about like a curse relatively early on, I think, and after the first story and the second story, I was like, okay, yeah, these are all going to be depressing.
Well, yeah. So let's set that up. The premise is Edith Finch is the last and youngest member of this huge family that started in Norway with Odin Finch, was the great grandfather who came over with his house. He packed up his house and floated it across the Atlantic to start a new house.
It's a nice little fantastical story.
Yeah. And actually through, I guess, the Panama Canal and up to the Pacific Northwest. As soon as he got there, the house sinks. And so they build a new house
right off the coast.
Right off, like you could see it from where the new house is. And in this house, the entire lineage of this family has lived, and they don't grow old. They all die young. Everyone dies unnaturally.
No, wait. Everyone doesn't die young.
They die.
They die at different ages.
There's one guy,
but he was in his 50s,
who lives till he's old.
Like they still die prematurely and unnaturally.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
so.
They're
how old was Walter? Because he's the one that
he was in his mid-50s. I did the math on the years.
50s?
He looked a lot older. He looked like he was 70, but he was only 50 something.
Yeah. Okay, he was 53.
And so that's the thing. They think there's this family curse. They've had a string of bad luck. Either kids disappear, or they are murdered, or there's accidents. And as you walk through the house, you walk through each of the bedrooms that they've all had. And like through the years, they've been like sealed off because it's bad memories and things like that. And so you kind of have to work your way through nooks and crannies. It's all first person. And you go in and you see their story kind of unfold, and you see what happened to them. And that kind of ties into the overall story about like, is it a curse? And what does it mean if it is? Life.
A series of bad decisions.
Yeah. It's so yeah.
So it starts off, the first of the characters that you meet that you're able to get into the room is Molly.
Molly's, yeah.
And she's the little girl who, I think she was 6 when she
was
died.
Little,
And the story that you play out is a story of her.
She was 10.
She was 10?
Yeah.
Imagining being all of these different animals. Basically, she imagines herself climbing out the window, turning into a hawk. Is it?
Yeah,
an owl.
It was a cat first.
An owl.
It was a cat first, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was a cat. Yes.
Oh, sorry, she was the cat first, and then the owl, and then she turns
like a shark.
Into a
the shark starts rolling down the hill. Like she's still above land as the owl, and the owl turns into a shark, and it's just like awkwardly tumbling down until it hits the water, and then you're swimming.
Yeah. And then you become a monster that starts eating.
Yeah, I forgot. She gets up on the boat and is like, killing people.
Your goal is to run around. But like, so before that, like the story with her is she's in her room and she's like terribly hungry, but like her mom doesn't want to give her any food, so she starts eating like everything she could find. So she eats like her pet gerbil or hamster's food. And she eats like an entire tube of toothpaste. Yeah. And then she starts eating like decorative holly berries or something, or actual holly berries. I'm not. Yeah. And so,
and then she starts to imagine all of this. Yeah.
Well, when she ate the berries, I was sitting there going, I see where this is going, because those cause you to hallucinate.
Oh, do they? I thought it was mistletoe and that this was going to kill her, but
no, the holly berries will definitely cause you to hallucinate. Yeah. So, and then they always tell you not to eat toothpaste. So I'm sitting there going, oh, this is good. So,
but even in that one story, we got a feel for all of these crazy different dynamics.
Yeah,
you're controlling all of these different entities, these different creatures, and they all feel so totally different. And it's kind of foreshadowing the entire game.
Yeah,
all of these stories are going to feel totally different.
Yeah, because it's a walk. Because in general, it is a walking simulator, whereas you're playing as Edith when you're walking around the house. But every time you come across a new story, there's an entirely new mechanic you're going to be messing around with, which is
like,
pretty.
They had that all built into there, and even like the different ways the stories are told when you're not like the comic book one. It was just like side panels moving around, and it was like, this is a different game inside this game. Like every other story was a different game inside this game, and it was really cool.
I will say my favorite story was Barbara's.
Yeah, that's the one I was just thinking of.
Barbara's was the comic book one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Barbara's was awesome. The whole so Barbara was like a child star, and she was well known for her scream in a horror movie of some sort. Yeah. And then never really got anything else, any more work.
Because she got older and her scream changed, which I thought was a great reason for there to be a washed-up child actor.
Yeah. And so, like, she later on in her life, she's 32 or something, like 36, I don't know. But she starts fighting with her boyfriend at the time, and he, kicks him out. And then all of a sudden, she starts hearing these radio broadcasts saying like there's a hook hand killer nearby, and so she, you play as Barbara, kind of wandering through the house, trying to be on guard because she thinks someone's in the house.
And it's all told in this comic book style.
Yes.
Where you're flipping pages as you're moving through the world in first-person perspective.
Yeah.
Picking up a crutch and swinging it at things. And the colors are so striking, and the brush strokes are, the whole world is made up of like pen strokes or brush strokes. And it is so vivid and just, it's so exciting, and the music goes so great with it, and it's a little bit creepy, but it's so good because after a couple of more downbeat stories, it just jumps the pace up again, and it really gets you hyped up again.
Well, and that one, like, it does this, like, flips the script like 3 times on you. Like, okay, so she thinks someone's in the house, she goes and finds him, and then she turns out that it's Rick in like a Bigfoot mask, trying to help her get her scream out, things like that. And then I think she kicks Rick out after that again, but she finds out that then there's another guy that's in the house, and this one's actually a Hookman killer is going after her. And so finally she whacks him on the head with a crutch, and then she falls, and the guy falls to his, I guess, death, or she thinks it's to his death, over a railing. She goes down to check, and he's gone. And then you're like, okay, fine. Then the doorbell rings, and you're like, oh my God, it's the Hookman killer. But she goes to the door and checks it anyway. And then she opens the door, and there's like what appears to be like 30 different horror movie fans that are there, like, just to see her. And you're like, oh, it's a happy ending. And then they descend on her and kill her and eat her, so she can get her final scream before she dies. So it's like, okay, this is gonna be good. Nope. Okay, she's dead. Nope. Okay, more shit. Okay, no. Okay. Oh, hey, finally, happy ending.
And the best thing about that one is that it's so you walk into the room, it's like Barbara's bedroom, and you pick up a comic book that was like, and she says throughout the years there's been so many like dramatizations and like made up shit about Barbara's death, or about what happened to Barbara, but you never actually find out how. You see this story in this one comic book that for some reason, like, Grandma Edie, which is the same name of the main character.
That's exactly what happened.
But so you're like, but you don't know if that's what happened. It's like what did happen to her, but it doesn't really matter in a way. You know that she's dead now. She was a child star and she died. I didn't think she was that old. I thought she was, like, you said 32. I thought she was like 16, 17.
No.
Yeah. Wasn't she a teenager?
I'm pretty sure she was.
Let me look it up here. Hold on.
That was Barbara, right?
Yeah, Barbara. I just had it up. Says born in 44. Oh, sorry. I can't do math. Yeah, 16. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I was looking at a different page. Never mind. Yeah, 16 years old. My bad.
Yeah. But that kind of, as well, it ramped up the pace and kind of made it more enjoyable after one of the more depressing stories. And certainly the first one, the first really, well, for me, heartbreaking, sad one in it, which was Calvin.
Yeah, I had a visceral reaction to that one.
That absolutely just kind of, well, it woke me up for a start. After playing as Molly and all the fantastical creatures, and then seeing Odin's story, which was told through, it wasn't Flipbooks. It was like, it was
a viewfinder.
It was the viewfinder.
That's right. That's right.
but then it comes to Calvin, and Calvin is this kid who was obsessed with space and wanted to be an astronaut and wanted to
fly.
And his story is told as a kid on a swing, trying to go higher and higher, trying to go round, basically. And it is just the feeling of gravity as you're like, I think is it only 2 buttons? Are you just pressing basically forward and back?
Yeah.
That feeling of weight and gravity as you're like pulling yourself back and then pushing yourself forward as hard as you can go. It is just so real. It takes you back to your childhood, to being on a swing, and it just, when it ends and he jumps, you think, or he falls, and it is just so
and the swing
real.
is positioned on a cliff for some reason, so when he falls,
so it makes that feeling of vertigo.
There's a lot of strange design decisions with that house in general. So
yeah. But man, that was when that one was over. I was just like, felt like I'd been punched. I was like, and again, I was wondering, wow, if they're willing to do that so early in the story, what else is coming up? And I love that they went from that to the Barbara story, which was a totally different style of telling things, and it was more upbeat and fun and schlocky, and it kind of eased my heart a little bit after the Calvin story, And
then soon after, you got the other really upbeat one, Gregory.
Well, was Gregory straight after that?
No, I don't think that was in the order. But soon after, I think. But I'm not really going in order, but yeah.
Oh, I've got the order here. Okay, the next one was Walter. Walter was basically a doomsday prepper.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he was. What was he afraid of originally?
I think he was afraid of the curse.
Was he? So he went and like hid himself in a bunker down
under
below
the house, and only
like
Grandma Edith knew he was there, or great grandma.
Right.
It's Edith's, the main character's great grandmother, who is the daughter of Odin.
Yeah,
granddaughter.
Wait,
daughter. I think she was Odin's daughter because she saw the house get built. She saw the house crash because she had lived in the old house. So yeah.
Yes, daughter.
But Walter's story is basically one of monotony and boredom, I guess, fear as well, until he finally feels like this is stupid, and he's willing to break free of these mental, chains that he has around him. And unfortunately, he just wanders in the wrong direction. Basically, I think that's.
Well, I don't know. So I think like his was my least favorite, just because it was so. Deus Ex Machina is not the right word, but just so out of left field how he dies. Like he walks outside, and he's just like in awe because he hasn't been outside in 30 years or something, and then he gets hit by a train that he's not paying attention to.
You would have heard that coming, but maybe he,
No, he was just out. Was very out of it. He just had.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe that's what he meant by getting out. Maybe that's what he meant by "I'm going."
Maybe. I mean, you'd think he could have found a way to kill himself in his vault.
Maybe, but maybe he wanted to see the sky one more time, and I was like, "Well, there's train tracks right on the other side of this wall." Be a good way to do it.
That's true.
But yeah, who knows? I didn't. Yeah, discussing it now made me think of that, but at the time, I thought he's just bad luck. So it's probably it.
Right.
Next up after Walter was Sam. Sam had been in the army and he was raising a girl, which was Edith's mom. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, so he's super into fitness and hunting.
I liked Sam's. I liked it. I mean, it was happy, but I mean,
he was like really, really proud of Dawn, which Dawn's Edie's mom, right?
Yes.
And he's basically hunting with her, and like you play as him taking photos.
Yes.
And you can tell his love for his daughter. You can tell how proud he is. You can tell
teaching her how to hunt and all that.
Yeah, he really wants to spend time with her and do things with her. So she basically is out hunting with him and takes down a deer, and he sets up the camera to take a photo of him and Dawn and the deer, and as the camera is about to go off, the deer, gives one last death shudder, basically, and knocks Sam off a cliff. And again,
it's the one time you actually control him other than just moving the camera.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You walk him up there.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a heart wrencher as well. But it's not as heartbreaking as the one that comes after, which is probably
so hard.
Of all the ones in this story, Gregory was the saddest for
dies probably, of neglect.
Yeah, the reason is he's the youngest. He's a little baby in a bathtub, and the way it's told is just amazing. It's so fun. It's that's a weird thing to say about an infant.
But it gives it is like amazing in the sense that it gives you an idea that, like, maybe he did have an awesome existence, an awesome life, an awesome adventure, that he was like really, he went out happy. Like that's like the kind of the solace you get from his story.
It's like you're sitting in the bathtub and like you're playing with the toys, but then all of a sudden, like, you can manipulate the water to like shoot the toys upwards, which knocks down like the soap, and you get bubbles now. And it's just this little, like, you see it through the eyes of this child that has this massive imagination just because he doesn't know any better. And it's just this little like symphony he starts creating with all these toys in the water.
It's that music as well. It's just it swells as he is playing with his little toy frog. And then he like knocks other toys that are sitting on the rim of the bath down, and they all kind of follow in time with the music, and it's like this beautiful as you say, symphony, Josh. And it just builds to a crescendo, and then you realize, like,
the water's still running.
Well,
the water's
from
still
the
running.
moment it starts, you're like, oh God, this kid's gonna drown in the bathtub.
Oh God, it can't be this.
And so you're like, please, please, please. And then, like, it feels like it's about to happen, and you can hear his mom on the phone in the other room, like in a serious conversation with the dad, who they're just splitting up. And then at the last minute, she comes in and she's like, turns off the water, and it's like, okay, you're fine. And then he calls again, and she walks away, and then the water starts pouring again, because, like, I don't know why it does.
I think he hits it. He
hits it with like a
little toy, but like that seems like part of the imagination. Like, it's not really him doing it, but something in between those two realms happens to make the water go on, and then that's when he's like, you see his imagination kind of swimming through this pool with all of his like rubber animal friends,
with all his toys, all his friends, basically.
It's
it is so many emotions at once. Elliot, you're so right. That feeling of utter dread when this vignette starts, you're just like,
this is gonna go poorly.
Please don't be. And then the music takes over, and the mechanics are so fun and so interesting, and you're feeling the joy that maybe this little child is having, and it just totally like takes you to a different place. And as you say, when you're like basically fall down the bathtub with your friends, it's like almost all right, and then you're back to the present day and the real world, and it kind of hits you again, and you're like, oh no,
this happened. Exactly.
Wow, so many emotions.
It's the one that, like, when you get hit and you're back in the real world and you're just staring at the empty crib, it's just like, fuck, like,
So Gus was one of Dawn's brothers. Was it three of them? Is that right? Sam was raising
Gregory, Gus, and Dawn, wasn't it? Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, because
was Gregory the kid who was playing
the kite kid?
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed was
Gregory is the baby. Gus was the kite kid.
Or sorry,
Gus. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. But I noticed. Did you? And this is one of the things about all of the rooms in the house. There was so many pictures and paintings and little artifacts and like trinkets and stuff that lent such a breadth of character to everyone. You know, even like even way before you had played the vignettes, it felt like a lived-in place. You know, it really, that really struck me, like the attention to detail, that, you know, how much the people who made this didn't want it to be just about these few moments in between where you were, you know, doing something more than just a walking simulator. While it was a walking simulator, you weren't just walking. You were walking around a world, a lived-in place, you know, with real people, even before you heard their stories.
Yeah.
Kind of, it was pretty powerful.
Yeah. Totally. They did such a good job with that.
Yeah. Who was up after that?
You're on Gus. Who was?
I think. Oh, next was Milton. Was it? Milton, and Milton was the boy who disappeared. Was he?
Yes. There's no actual understanding of what really happens, but the theory is because the game that Giant Sparrow made before this was called Unfinished Swan.
Oh, it's the same guy.
It's in a style of the same way, white and black. And there's I think there even is like a picture of a swan in Milton's room somewhere.
Yeah, there is. I noticed it now that you mentioned it.
So the theory goes that, you know, maybe he's the guy from
Wow.
But again, it's not. I don't think it's actually specifically confirmed or anything. But that's kind of where you think he disappeared to. So
a rumor's good enough for me, Josh.
That's headcanon.
Yep, there you go. But then,
that's sold through the flip book, right?
Yeah, the flip book was pretty cool. I like that. Except I like accidentally, I like somehow stopped flipping at one point and like put it down. I guess not, and then I had to flip the whole thing again because you couldn't pick it up. I was like, damn it! All right. So, but it was pretty neat though. But the last one was not the last one. The next one was
This was my favorite one.
Which his was depressing.
This was gameplay wise was my absolute favorite one.
So did you let the fish pile up, or did you do?
I did them constantly.
I did them constantly. What would happen if they piled up? Would it have told the story as he didn't care so much and he didn't?
Well, I think you have to chop the fish heads because eventually he can't move. On your other side, he can't move past it because there's the fish or something are blocking the way. So
so he's this. He was like, he's actually Edith, the main character's older brother. Don's other son. And he was like a teenager and working at the cannery canning salmon, which was a family business. Like other people had done that as well. And basically the gameplay was you start off and a fish comes on your left hand. So you basically slide the stick to the right and he moves the fish to the right and gets his head chopped off in this little like mini guillotine thing. And then the headless fish goes on, and then you just kind of do that over and over again with the one stick. And then it's so monotonous that he starts like daydreaming of him being like a king in this like medieval land. And you're playing him with the left stick, and his fantasy like starts off as a little corner of the screen, and it slowly gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it takes up more and more of his consciousness, of his being. And like,
the whole time you're still chopping fish.
Yeah, you can still do your day to day, but you have this feeling going on. You have this more important world that you're slipping into. And while your therapist, his therapist is narrating. Oh no, wait. Edith is reading a letter from his therapist, which talks about his condition and how he's been progressing. It is
they perfectly captured the feeling of doing a monotonous task while your mind is elsewhere so well. Like we've all done that. We've all been there, and they do it exactly as it is. And you've got to play this if you haven't. Just Lewis's story was just so powerful, like mind blowing. So it's eventually you barely see the fish at all, and he's like the king, and he's about to get like crowned by the queen. It's like all that was left was the crown, and then it's implied you see him walk in and put his head down in a guillotine, like the king character, and then it comes down, and that's
we skipped Gus.
No,
we said we
skipped it.
My apologies. I still had Gregory and Gus stuck in my head. So Gus was straight after Gregory.
Yes.
So Gus started off by you're wandering through the bedroom of Gregory and Dawn and Gus, and I actually remember taking a screenshot of their bedroom, and there's a little chalkboard. You can tell that their father, who was military or ex-military, was really like regimented.
Yes.
And you can see on the chalkboard, they've got like raised flag 7:30 a.m., breakfast 8 a.m., quiet time 11 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Judy's, and it's Dawn, sleep and sweep and do the trash. Gus, mop and mow the yard. And then Greg, be a baby. It's just like this little fun little insight into, you know, how this dad and his kids dynamic work.
Right.
You know, it's just really and then Gus's story, you're wandering through the bedroom of these three, and you pick up a little kite. It's the kite roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
That has pages wrapped around it.
That's right.
And they're poems for Gus, written by Edie's mom, Dawn, for her brother, who again passed away young. And they're basically poems about him being a little badass.
Yeah.
You know, if there's going to be this big regimented dad, you know, one of his kids is going to be a bit of a, you know, like playing up, and his story is told as trying to control the kite as the wind picks up and as things in the backyard get a little hectic and he's rebelling because is his father getting remarried? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the celebration was.
I think that's it.
I think it was.
He's rebelling because of his dad getting remarried.
Yeah.
Which is again so believable and so relatable, you know. It's
and as you move the kite around, it like opens the words, like it unlocks the words, like you sweep it over, and then the words kind of appear.
Again, you feel like you're part of telling this story.
Yeah, you do. Like the interactivity is like it's ingenious. I've been using that word a lot today, but it's just the way that they find to make you unlock the story as you're playing is so creative in this game. And that's part of what makes it.
I think so. And it's for anyone. I think like somebody could sit next to you while you control this and read the story and hear the story and appreciate it just as much as you playing it. Like the sense of weight and gravity might be slightly better if you're playing it yourself, but you know,
but you get that, like you clench your eyes, like, ugh, like every time it got higher and higher, you're just like, no, like, ugh, it's so hard to watch. It's so hard to play.
I think those are all the stories. Dawn doesn't actually get her own story,
right?
But you wander through her room, which serves as the home school for I guess Edith and Lewis. Yeah. And again, you just get this little insight into a mum who absolutely adores her kids and dotes after them, and as well, she has been published in teaching methods. She, I'm trying to remember what else was.
I didn't notice that.
To Teach and to Learn by Dawn Finch.
I do remember seeing those. Yeah.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, I was sitting on her desk along with a photo of her and her two brothers and her dad, and it's just, again, the world is so realized. It's just, it never stops from start to finish. It's fantastic. And then I guess we're almost there at the finish.
Up.
Well, we should say, I don't know if we mentioned that, like this whole time, in between the stories, Edith is narrating as if she's, and it sounds like you pick up partway through that she is writing in some kind of letter or journal or diary to her unborn child. I have a question about that. How early did you know that she was pregnant? Because I knew it really early on. I didn't know until she said.
Because I looked down at one point and I was like, she's got a bump.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As I was trying to get into the house at the very beginning, like once I got to the house, at one point I looked down and I was like, she's got a bump there. Is she pregnant?
I suspected it when she's going through one of the crawl spaces, and it's like these crawl spaces were meant for kids and people not as big as me. And so then I stood up and looked down. I'm like, she's not that big. What's she talking about? And I was like, I wonder.
Yeah.
But I didn't really give it much credit until she actually said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's narrated that way. She's telling the story to her unborn kid. And it's like, it sounds like a big diary entry, like a letter to him. So then we get to her story. Let's see.
And her story is about her mom running from the curse.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, that basically her like Edith, who was Odin's daughter, so her great what is it?
It was Edie's great grandmother.
Great grandmother. Yeah, she refused to leave. She stayed in the house, and Dawn and her had a big fight, but eventually Dawn just couldn't take it because she was afraid that Edie would be trying to like get into the rooms and read some of the stories, and that she would fall foul to the curse again. So one night Dawn basically packs up the car, throws Edie in it, and they all leave. It's actually after Lewis passes away, isn't it?
I'm not Lewis is the last story before it goes into that, so it must be, yeah.
It's basically her reacting to her son, you know, dying and being like, it's not going to happen to my daughter too.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, jumping in the car. And then, of course, the story is the inevitability of death. You know, you can run from a big spooky house, but you can't run from death. And unfortunately, and again, heartbreakingly, Dawn, you know, gets ill.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you have these moments of seeing her. Do you remember that piece? And it's like she got better for a little while.
Yeah.
And then she got worse again.
Yeah.
And it is, again, just so heartbreaking.
And you know that story. Like you see, anyone who's had someone be terminally ill, like knows that there's good days and there's bad days, and they get better and you fill with hope, but then like it doesn't always turn out the way you hope it does. And like just that little touch is just, we knew where that was still going.
Yep.
It's just also real. It's also relatable.
It really is.
The game is a masterpiece.
It's unbelievable achievement in storytelling. It's like nothing I've ever played.
Yeah.
It wraps up basically with you realizing that you had been playing the book being written, and that the person who's
being read.
No. He meant as you're playing as Edith Finch as she's writing.
As she's writing.
Yeah.
But someone is reading it.
Somebody is reading it.
Yeah.
Re-seeing what you are playing.
Yes, exactly.
And it's her child.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and he's standing at her grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really nicely pulled back together, and you know, you see the cover of the book and you're just like, wow, it's all in there.
Yeah.
Everything that I felt and experienced, and everything that these generations upon generations of a family went through, it's all in there. And it's just in a few words that we saw lit up in yellow across these small little screens and little vignettes. It's like, that's a lifetime. That is many lifetimes. That is humanity there, you know. It's kind of like, it's so good. Please go play it, even though you've heard us talk about it for a while now.
It's the best kind of twist where it's like, it was inevitable. Like, of course she didn't escape the curse either. The whole point is that you can't escape the curse. And maybe, no, like you said, it's not a curse. You can escape the house, but you can't escape death. It's going to happen. And of course she doesn't. Why would you think that she would? It's so poetic. It's perfect.
And like the game says, be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all.
Yeah.
True words.
Yeah.
True words. Yeah. It left me speechless. And it's a game that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time after this. I wish I could show it to everyone I know. It's so good. It's so good.
It's up there with the a select few games like The Last of Us, obviously. One that Thomas Was Alone. Thomas Was Alone is just a marvel of story.
It really is, though. Yeah,
that makes me want to show to everyone because it's such simple dynamics, but tells such a great story full of charm. Oh god, yeah. What Remains of Edith Finch is totally up there for anyone who doesn't like. It's 2018. Everyone should know video games are art, but anyone who dares argue with that right now, this is a game I want to show them.
Yep. Yeah.
So good.
Good job, Giant Sparrow. Was it?
Giant Sparrow.
Giant Sparrow. Yep. What a game. Such a small team. And I love the end credits. It showed all the developers as kids, like their childhood photos.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it just brings it all back.
It does.
Humanity and art and what people care about. You know, people care about family and they care about stories and they care about showing you a little insight into their lives, you know, in whatever way they can.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes.
Right. Well, everybody, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, I hope
it's been a long one.
If you haven't played it and you got this far and you decided, shit, that sounds really good, it's absolutely still worth playing. As we said, the interactivity is a big part of what makes this story land, and you should absolutely go through it.
Or just go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like less than 2 hours long. It's shorter than a movie, shorter than 2 episodes of a series. You'll love it. It's heartbreaking and it's beautiful.
But if you did want to play it and you listen to this last 20, 30 minutes of this cast, you're an idiot.
Spoiler.
So our next game will be, as we decided, The Lost Legacy, which are we going to try to have that done by the next episode, guys?
No, 2 episodes usually.
Oh, right. Every other episode.
We'll
so we'll get there eventually. And
says Elliot.
Hopefully Demon Souls is done then as well. That's what I'll be working on.
No chance. Not a chance.
I am on a good run right now. You can't.
Good. You beat one level. That's not a streak.
You can't. I meant the 3 games I beat. Going strong into Demon Souls. Lost Legacy coming up. I'm feeling good. You can't shit on my parade.
This is no new games 2018. We're gonna be talking about a lot of games here.
Yep. Get used
so
to
many to play and no more to buy.
Yep. So yes, I think we signed off earlier. You know the drill.
Thanks for listening.
Guys. Check us out offline. I forgot to mention Twitch and YouTube, but you guys know twitch.tv/ratherbyplaying. We're going to be streaming some stuff as well as we play through these games. So check us out then, and we will catch you next time. Thanks so much for listening.
Later, everybody.
Thanks.
Slom.